How are you all doing?
It could be better.
Oh, so is you.
I'm good.
At this point.
I'm good.
Better.
Yours could be better. I
Yes.
agree. Yeah, that's right.
So who do we, should we start with the victors or we should start with the vanquished? Mr. Jantua, who do you, I'm seeking your advice today.
Start with Mr. Jansen.
Who-
What do you think the
The
people?
neutrals.
What do you think the people want to listen to?
The neutrals.
The
people like to
positive
listen
or
to
the negative?
I don't think there's negative today. Is there? Is there any?
No,
No.
There's no negative.
there's no negative.
Okay.
There's no negative today.
No, is there?
Eh.
Is there? Ishaq,
I think it's appropriate for me to start.
Okay.
Especially being the vanquished, as you said. Yes. I think for the first time, I felt naked walking into the studio without my manifesto. Perhaps just as Mr. Gentua always felt.
I felt that one. Don't brush me with the same brush.
Simply because democracy has happened. On the lighter note, I would like to send my heartfelt congratulations to the president-elect, John Mahama. Well, the Ghanaians have given him a resounding victory. It's not just the presidency, parliament as well. He has a two-third majority, and he rightly recognized that we have placed heavy responsibility on his shoulders.
Yes.
Having said that, I would like to also recognize the unique nature of the current vice president of Ghana. In fact, he did not wait for the electoral commission. According to him, his own data, by 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning after the election, he found the need to do the decent thing to make Ghanaians aware that he didn't win and that John Mahama was going to become president. This is what a statesman does. In fact, he has shown that he wasn't desperate to become president. He was only asking for an opportunity to serve the good people of Ghana. And we have to recognize it. This is a unique statesman, and it's quite particularly unique when you come to our African context and our Ghanaian context, especially when you trace back the last 4 years. The loser have not even found the courage to congratulate the winner up to date. We are still waiting for such congratulations. So he has done very good job, and I think he deserves a future in politics of Ghana. He deserves a particular unique future in the MPP, and my hopes is that one day he's going to be our flag bearer again.
Okay.
Having said that, let me come back to the interpretation of the results. A lot of people have placed various interpretations. I've listened to some of the NDC's good friends who have interpreted what the results means. MPP too have also come back laying blames everywhere. Let's make it very clear. The most important thing is that John Mahama has won. Democracy has won. The Ghanaian people have decided that. That's why the MPP had made a very good case. NDC have also made a case that they think is much better than that of the MPP. And they decide that NDC was the right party for them to go through. Does it show John Mahama was much popular than what they call it, that of the vice president? I don't think so. Because if you compare the results he has on this particular election to the previous election, there's no much change. For me, what the result simply says is that some MPP members were very angry with our party, and they have refused to vote. We simply lost, not because John Mahama was very popular. We lost because people were angry with us. And there's a need for we, the MPP, to go back and do our homework, let's not start blaming now. Let's relax, do a much better scientific-based research to find out why have we lost, especially in the Ashanti region that is usually recognized to be our World Bank. Why the World Bank has collapsed? We need to find out the main reason why. For me, my preliminary comment, even though I said we should reserve it, my preliminary comment is that we lost because of the economy, and we also lost because somehow we have neglected the Ashanti region. The economy, I mean, the Afrobarometer report was very, very clear. Ghanaians was much more concerned about the economy, as well as what do they call it? The free education they appreciated, but the economy was a much worry for them, according to the Afrobarometer report.
Do you think that you placed emphasis? I mean, going into the elections, you had the opportunity of
Yes.
seeing the reports in the Afrobarometer report.
Yes.
You saw the global info analytics
Yes.
that pointed to economy, the
The
economy
economy, yes.
being a key issue.
Yes,
Apart from, I mean, it was just the NCC report
Yeah.
which had said that education was key.
Yes.
But these two, which have proven themselves,
Yes,
Afrobarometer
yes.
and Global Info Analytics,
Yes.
they all pointed to the economy.
Yes.
Do you think that as a party and your candidate,
Yes.
you centered your conversation on the economy, or you were harping more on the free SHS?
No,
program?
the economy we were equally pushing it, but the reality is that there was a problem with the economy. As we have rightly said, I mean, if you look back, the global economy was in trouble. Almost every country that was managing it, because of the economy, they have lost. I mean, look at Britain. The Conservatives have ruled over years. They lost because of the economy. If you look at the United States, even the Democratic what do you call it, flag bearer, recognize that the global cost of living crisis was a problem. Ghana too, we lost. For example, I read the piece written by Moses Superior, and I've also listened to the interview by
Dennis?
Apia.
Apia could be okay?
Yes, he made point. Yes, for example, some people thought that if Kenneth Atta had left earlier, that could have helped us. Because if you look at elsewhere, usually when the economy is in trouble, the managers of the economy will usually go out early.
But you hardly admitted that it was in trouble.
Well, there are some admissions that you don't necessarily make them in public, but it doesn't mean you have not admitted.
No.
In fact, 40 MPs admitted and went to see the president to say that, listen, we are going to be in trouble. I mean, what is more admission than that? 40 MP walking to the presidency to say, let him go.
It was more than 40.
It was more.
80.
Thank you, Mr. Gentleman. For the first time, we are beginning to agree. It was more than 40. Do you understand that? So we kind of admitted. And I have always consistently recognized that we're having problem with the economy. But for the fact that there was a Russian-Ukraine war and COVID-19 led to global cost
Are
of
you
living
aware
crisis.
one of those, the continuous reference to that
Yes.
is one of the things that really irks the people?
I'm
That the
not really
that the
sure.
continuous reference.
I'm not really sure about that, because if that is some of the causes, why can't we mention it? Especially when we're in the spirit of telling the
Especially when people believe that
truth. Uh-huh.
the economy was already in trouble before Russia-Ukraine war. The
Well,
economy was already in trouble before COVID.
yes.
And so the overemphasis on
On COVID.
those
I'm not sure.
led to a
who are
weakening.
those people say? Are
led
they
to a-
NDC members?
no, there's not. I mean, we've spoken to various analysts who have always said
Okay.
that the economy was already in trouble before
Okay.
COVID, and
Okay.
the overemphasis on COVID was actually a problem.
Okay. I'm not really sure whether the overemphasis on the COVID is a problem. But what I know is that economy was one of the deciding factors. And I think perhaps if some people says if Kenneth Atta had gone, that could have breathed more confidence in the economy. You don't wait till everything melted. And I think this e-levy is quite irritating to so many people. I myself, e-levy was very irritating to me. So that is why the vice president quickly recognized that, look, if he gets the opportunity, he was going to get rid of it. So e-levy also contributed. And I think some people also point to the neglect of the Ashanti region. If you look at the road infrastructure, you see some, so many, especially Accra, have received more than, if you compare Accra and Kumasi, the road infrastructure.
Include Chebi.
Well, perhaps, I don't know about Kiwi. I mean, the last time I went to Kiwi, about 4 years ago. So I'm not really
Go
sure
there
about
now.
that.
Go there now.
Okay. So the yes, Ashanti region
roads are
have
like
not shared,
red carpets.
have not had their fair share of the cake, and perhaps the future government will need to do that. But let's come to the NDCs. Now they have won, as the vice president said.
Wait, but first of all,
Okay,
they have won.
Yes.
Were you surprised by the margin at which you lost?
very surprised. Yes. I never thought that could happen. I was very confident we were going to win. Yes, especially if you compare That's why we have external exigencies. The way we manage the economy, the way we manage.
Okay.
You have to remember that the NDC also left when we're having a IMF program. So they are not that exchange. But then we have to respect democracy.
Okay.
The Ghanaian people think, okay, it's difficult. Let's change hands and see what happened. But I was very surprised.
Okay.
Especially the parliamentary side. It was almost a complete wipeout. They have no mercy.
Total annihilation.
Yes. No, without any mercy. But that's democracy for you. But right now, my prayer is that the NDC should succeed.
Okay.
The interest of Ghanaian is paramount than politics. They have given us a whole lot of promises. I hope John Mahama is no longer thinking about the honeymoon, because the honeymoon really need to be put aside.
Okay.
We are going to be an opposition.
So you acknowledge that we are in trouble, and so work must be done quickly.
We have problems. Just like any. They themselves, they said it. Now, I'm not the one only saying it.
Okay.
They said they have to go straight to work. And the first thing
I was just asking that because,
Yes.
it's one of the things that governments you would usually shy away from.
Yes.
That we were in an abyss.
No, not complete habits. I can see that yesterday, 2 days ago, when he met the president said that there's good news from the finance minister that the economy has begun to grow
Yes.
at pre-COVID, before COVID hit, at that level that pre-COVID hit, meaning that things are beginning to turn around. So it won't be that bad as compared to a year ago, when we acknowledged we're really in trouble. Even the vice president made a point that if we didn't introduce the gold for oil program, we could have even collapsed. We could have seen things like that of Sri Lanka.
Okay.
So, but the point I really want to make is that we are going to pray for the NDC to succeed. And we are going to be an opposition that will not be obstructive as they were.
As the vice president also said.
Yes, we are not going to obstruct them. We are going to give praises where praises due, and we'll be very critical, constructive criticism, where it is in the interest of Ghana to criticize. We know Parliament, yes, they will have their way. Almost every provision that is not entrenched, they now have the capacity to change it. But I want to remind them that in a democracy, it is not always about majority rule. It's also about minority rights. So you can't just say you have your numbers, let's do this. No. You still need to bear in mind that democracy doesn't just mean majority rule.
Okay.
It's majority rule with safeguards for what? Minority rights. And that is what we are going. And then those of us who have the opportunity to be in the media will help the media to hold you to account. The first years of universities expect the free tuition. There's no way, no bet, no this. You cannot pre-negotiate it. You have a social contract with the people of Ghana through your manifesto. And some of the social contracts is that our 24 hours economy, we expect it to be delivered.
Okay.
The people of Ghana cannot wait. You yourself, our free SHS, we say a review meant cancel, and you say no. Perhaps we don't understand English proper. A review means a review to make things better. The people of Ghana doesn't expect the free SHS to be cancelled. According to the Afro-Barometer report, it was a very popular policy. We want you to be reinforced and protected and enhanced so that the people of Ghana can what? Can enjoy it. The Women Development Bank, we expect it to be established as soon as possible. So
I would come to your expectations shortly.
Okay.
But it looks like you have a very tall list.
They gave a tall list. I didn't. They gave a tall list. Mr. Janto, is that not so?
Ishak, I'm just, the reason I'm smiling is I'm just looking at how things have switched all of a sudden.
Yes.
And I am going to see more of this.
The people of
the way there were times where you defended the government at all costs.
Yes.
And how
not really at all costs. I've always reserved some criticism.
There were times where you would defend the actions of government.
Yes.
When the people had other ideas.
Well,
and then the opposition sought to seemingly were on the people's side.
Yes.
Now we are going to see a switch where you will be on the people's side, and then would have those in government also defending the cause of government.
Yes.
Okay, so let me go to Mr. Shama at this point. You must be one of the happiest people in Ghana at the moment,
in the
right?
planet.
Now, good morning to you, good morning to our listeners, and good morning to my colleagues. Senior Jantua and lawyer, let me put it. And then
Morning.
lawyer Ibrahim.
Yes.
Isaac. And, we thank God. I'm a type of person who don't just get carried away by success.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm a type of person who, after achieving the objectives, put things on the table and ask myself questions, because the results that have come are beyond my expectation.
I mean, both sides seem to be very shocked at the margin. Those who won are shocked. Those who lost are equally shocked.
Yes. So that tells me that there is a problem to solve. Because if you have a self-contained and you have doors, bedrooms, and you ask people, enter any of the rooms. I'm taking those rooms to be political parties.
Yeah.
Enter any of the rooms you like. And you have a lot of people entering your room and people are clapping for you. Don't forget you have to give beds to those people to sleep. How many beds do you have in that room? Don't forget when the morning comes, you have to feed those people.
Yeah.
So that is the problem on the table. Actually, after the elections, the results came. I said, yeah, the campaign must end. The results are out.
Yeah.
The expectation of the people is for us to work. But just to touch a little bit on what my brother, some of the things he has said. Vice President Baumia has never contested the election with Mahama before. This is the first time. So this will be the history he has made. This is his record. So if MPP people want us to understand that, oh, there's no much difference, he has never contested Mahama before. So this is his record. And his record was gotten out of Nanado's and he, Vice President Baumia's abysmal performance. And I'm even surprised my brother is telling me that he was confident that upon all that we have been debating here, he is confident that Baumia will win. I was so surprised. This is the way we must stop the MPP people. They are educated, but they tend to deceive the multitude of people. Brother Ibrahim, what makes you think that Baumia will win? After, during his regime, his tenure as vice president, Ghana experienced the highest, inflation. Under their tenure with Nanado, the exchange rate from 4 to 17, even beyond. What makes you think that Baumia will win? People went hungry in this country, 2023, 2024. Their resources are wiped out. They don't have money to do business. And you still tell me that you were having confidence that Baumia will win. No, you are a good brother of mine. So, next time, I'm trying to tell you that don't go and say that in anywhere. The unemployment rate that you pick from 8% has gotten to close to 15%, and you are still having confidence that Baumia will win. This should have been said to people who have never, even the people who have never attended school. Now, you go to market. You check the tomato price. You ask questions. You see, whilst I was in parliament, I made so much, should I call it noise, that Keno Foriata and Professor Michael Kwe were killing this country. They should stop these people. They should stop them. If you are a real analyst, by the time we finished first term, 2020, this country was totally in a quagmire. Unless you don't take pen and paper to do calculations. Even before the COVID, from 2017, when Ken Ofori-Atta assumed the seat of Minister of Finance, straight 2.25 billion Templeton bond. Didn't you hear it in this country? The way he got this bond and the people who purchased the bond, he went for his friends. And Somoto, he as a finance minister, decided the interest to be paid on this bond. You look for your own friends, you give them the interest that you like without discussing it on the floor of the house. Minority made a whole lot of what? Noise. Shall I now give me a good this thing? Pronouncements about what Ken Ofori-Atta have started to do. He didn't mind. The president don't care. The Speaker of Parliament, look, I am telling you, I don't want to go back. Michael Kwe, the professor, was the one who killed this country.
In what sense?
By that time, they have 169 MPs and they have abused it. We have 106. Whatever they say, it was a ding-dong battle between Michael Kwe and Haruna. By that time, he was Honorable Haruna. He was our minority leader. He will not even recognize him. So if you listen to MPP people telling us that they will not be disruptive or minority, it is because you don't have numbers. You don't have the numbers. And let me tell you, Speaker Bagbin has been a savior of our coffers in the 8th Parliament. Other than that, what these people will do? Because Michael Kwe is going to continue with that reckless tangent, allowing Ken Ofori-Atta to be taking money left, right, center. Look at it that by 2019, he has taken, without COVID, Ken Ofori-Atta have taken $7.25 billion. 1 Templeton, 2 Euro bonds. What did he use the money for? Then you come to 2020, $3 billion, $3 billion Euro bond. 2021, $3 billion. So you see that even from COVID to 2021, he took only 6. And before COVID, he has taken 7.25 billion. And they've wasted this money. And that is what brought us here. That is what brought us the domestic debt exchange. That for the first time, the government of the state will go into the accounts of citizens and take their money by force without the approval of the account's owner. Or those who have agreed, you force them under duress. They have to take it or leave it, or you don't pay them anything at all. That was what brought us here. And so today, looking at all the mess they have left, NDC have a great tax. But to me, even though His Excellency have agreed and given the 120 days what he's going to do, I wish they what? The issuance back of the license of the banks that they have wrongly taken. They should give the certificates or the license to the owners. That was what has destroyed this country. Now, 432 microfinances. These people look at our face and close them. How many people have they jailed that they have taken microfinance money and chop it?
But there was they produced reports that showed that in most of these financial institutions, especially the banks, there was a problem of corporate governance and how there was insider trading among others. So it wasn't as though they moved in without a reason. There was a reason for which they moved in. Hey. Perhaps what many have said is the approach.
My sister, I'll be bold to tell you that those are criminal reports. Those are criminal reports. When has corporate governance problem started in this country? From the day this country was created, or we had the independence, it has started.
So we
must improve upon it. What you have seen, that a Ghanaian have established a bank called Unibank. that a Ghanaian has established a bank called UT Bank, that a Ghanaian has established a bank called Capital Bank, that alone, GN Bank, you mentioned that. Look at this person's bank. If that is the report we are talking about, say Agongo,
Heritage Bank.
Heritage Bank, what has he done wrong? What has he done wrong? The bank was profitable, but you just came out that the person is in court, so you are taking his license. That is criminal. That is criminal. They should return this to the owners and let us monitor. Don't we have, look, from that day I was asking that all the people working at the banking and supervision department of the Bank of should be sacked. Should be sacked because they are paid to do their job. Have they done it? How did they do it? They are to ensure corporate governance, proper corporate governance.
Okay, so I will return to you. Let me go to Mr. Jantua at this point, sir. Mr. Jantua.
Let me laugh.
Okay.
You people, you don't like when they don't
Okay,
like.
so land in 2 minutes.
Oh, even one is okay.
Okay, 1 minute.
30 seconds.
So you realize that to my brothers NDC people, let us work hard and put happiness on the faces of Ghanaians. The youth who have given us the overwhelming vote. That is what is expected. Let us support His Excellency John Dramani Mahama to make history, a proper history, a mark in the books of governance of this country. That is my wish.
All right. Mr. Jantua, the two parties say that they were shocked. Some were shocked. It led to sadness. Some were shocked. It led to happiness. What about you? Did you think that the electorates were this upset and wanted to send a signal across?
Good morning to our listeners, and I take it you're on Facebook.
Yes.
And to our
Viewers.
cherished viewers. The same thing that happened in 2026.
2016.
2016. No, 2020.
2020, okay.
2020, that we weren't able to identify, happened again. Did we know in 2020 that Parliament would go the way it went?
No.
We didn't. Were we able to know that these elections would go the way it went?
No.
No. That goes to show we weren't in tune with the people, and we weren't listening to the people. Yeah. My brother Ishak, before they were killed, always came in telling us that Mahama is incompetent. He's an incompetent president. How can an incompetent president beat an economic guru and the doctor of digitalization, vetted commas begin and close? How is that possible? Now, unfortunately, the woes of Akufo-Addo have been the crisis of Baumia, with their nemesis being Oforiatta. And the fact that they took a certain trajectory, which they took in 2020, which worked for them, they weren't able to anticipate that they were overdoing it with free education. Because that was the mantra. It goes to show they had nothing else to talk about but free education. And some of us ask the question, but is everything free education? I remember in this studio, is everything free education? When the economy was the main basis for the election. And Ishak, has iterated here that what John Mahama got in 2020 is nearly similar to what he's got in 2024. But look at the gap. If the gap were slightly narrow, maybe I will accept it. But look at the gap. And you talk about parliament probably being different from executives. Is it not one party?
It is.
Is President Mahama? Is he in a different party?
Nope.
Are the parliamentarians in a different party?
No.
They are all in NDC. And for NDC to be able to penetrate Ashanti, I said it. I said if NDC are able to penetrate Ashanti, it's over for the MPP. Were they not able to penetrate Ashanti? How many constituencies did they win there? 8.
As of now, yes.
8.
But they said they're probably looking at 10.
8 constituencies. How many constituencies did the MPP win in the Volta region?
None.
Zilch. Is it Upper East? How many constituencies did the MPP win in Upper East?
I think it's 15 over 15.
The MPP. How much did they win?
None.
It's 15 over 15 for NDC. So what are they talking about? What are they talking about?
What happened to your prediction?
Which of the predictions?
One party.
Kindly come close to your microphone.
You see, me, I'll eat humble pie. I'll eat humble pie. Because I was of the opinion that if for nothing at all, it will go second round. I said it in this studio. It will go second round. But I'll eat humble pie. I was wrong. Because I expected the smaller parties, well, the other parties, I don't call them small.
The minority parties.
The minority parties to make a dent. They weren't able to.
No.
It was
Cheddar performed.
It was
better than them.
NDC who was able to make a dent. And unfortunately, and this was probably it would have been able to help them if they could speak to power. If they could speak to power, because they knew things were wrong.
Yeah. I think it's one of the things that have been cited by some of the analysts that the party or the flag bearer should have been bold enough to take on the government itself, which he was coming from, in which he was coming from, and speak frontally to the issue of the economy and say that we have made a mess, but I intend to take us on a different direction.
He should have concentrated on that full time, especially when Kenufuriata took his position on the EMT. He should have been able to tell Ghanaians what he was going through. He should have sat with the president and said, Mr. President, if we're going to win this election, I need to be brutally honest with the people. The president might ask him, what do you mean brutally honest? With some of the challenges we have faced, I need to be able to say to the people, let the people understand. Was he able to? No. Digitalization. Forgetting that digitalization, the bedrock of digitalization is energy. Without power, forget digitalization. Where's the energy sector? So, unfortunately, they miscalculated. And my pain is the degree of defeat.
Yeah.
You see, and I keep saying this thing all the time, and they don't listen. Political parties in Ghana should learn from the CPP. Political parties in Ghana should learn from the CPP as to where the CPP is today. And they forget, the MPP forget that once upon a time, they were in exile for 30 years. So you should be very careful and mindful how you handle things. And unfortunately, President Akufo-Addo hasn't helped them. Hasn't helped them at all. We talked Rose, didn't we? Ishak is saying that we probably neglected Ashanti. Did he not know? When we were saying it, did he not hear? Did he not know? Did he not hear?
They knew. Is that not why one of the reasons perhaps the vice president was in the Ashanti region for about 15 to 20 days?
It was too late. It was too late. When President Akufo-Addo was not concentrating on Ashanti, his vice should have been able to tell him, oh boy, you are making a mistake. What was his role as vice president? What was his role? If they didn't give him anything at all, wasn't he supposed to advise the president? I keep asking this question. Is the president so stubborn that he would not listen to advice? And when Vice President Baumia was talking about the fact that he didn't agree to e-levy, he should have been able to narrate to the people what he did.
Yeah, to register his displeasure.
To register his displeasure. Should be able to tell us. Because you are vying for president.
Yeah.
And you need to be open with the people. Be open and transparent. I would say, and I share Daniel's view when he says that he's not the kind of person who, you know, success is something that you go out and clap, 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 clap. This particular win of the NDC, they should learn from what the MPP has gone through.
Yeah.
It's so important because the real power is with the people. And the degree of power they've given the NDC, they've asked you, hold our power for us,
In trust.
use it properly to benefit us. And if there's anything that you don't understand, if there's anything that you want to do, let us know.
Yeah.
Communicate with us. So if you've heard President Mahamad's utterances, he keeps indicating that the people are the most important and that we should rule with the people. Because now, where we stand today, I was asking myself the other day, I said, who would want to be president to handle some of the things that we are going through today? Who?
At this time, yeah.
At this time, who? Because you see, the unfortunate thing was that Vice President Baumia was campaigning on a duration of 8 years. Because he said, oh, President Mahama, no, there were 4 years, 8 years.
Well,
Forgetting that every president has 4 years and 4 years alone, nothing else, nothing more. Based on your, what do you call it, on your performance,
and they probably would renew
they'll
it.
probably will renew it for you. But the NPP knew. The NPP knew what was in the bag. They knew exactly what was in the bag. The NPP knew that this election, they can lose it based on some of the things that they did that the people didn't really acquiesce to. And unfortunately, it's come to bite them in the face. I felt so sad looking at the numbers in terms of seats that they have gained. 88, eh? Or
Yes.
is it less than 88?
Look, as of now, even Miracles doesn't know the number of parliamentary seats the NPP does have. So they are working with between one. So for the NDC, they are working with between 185 and 188. That is what at least the media will keep shuffling in between, because it is difficult to. Some areas are still, some areas are still in contention. So yes, that's what we have.
The
now.
NDC are looking at 190. That's what they are looking at, 190.
Now.
What are the NPP looking at?
At this
The
point.
88, will they be even a lot of parliamentarians to fill the committees? They'll have to overwork themselves. And unfortunately, their utterances did not help them. It's unfortunate. What are they going to do in Parliament? Especially where the NDC today have two-thirds majority. They don't need anybody.
We never envisaged this.
They can do whatever they want, but they should also be mindful how they use that power.
Subject to the Constitution,
Very mindful.
not whatever they want.
Very mindful. Yeah, they'll go through the Constitution. But the same way you guys did whatever you wanted to do, they can also choose to do that.
And we can amend some of the acts. We use our word to amend it. What do you mean by subject to constitution? We can. The flaw is there. We will amend it.
But, well,
Entrenched
so what he's
provisions,
saying
no.
is,
The entrenched how many are there?
I think essentially it's
How many are there?
in reference to.
I think it's actually a good opportunity for you. I want you to amend some parts of the
Even
Constitution.
the time we're writing the constitution, you people didn't write. So we have the right to amend.
Look.
Can you let me
President
answer first?
Yeah, senior, continue.
President Akufo-Addo made a big mistake when he came into power.
Which mistake was
When we
that?
said to him that, Mr. President, look at the Constitution.
Oh yeah, I remember.
There are 960 pages of constitutional review. It's there. 960 pages. First thing, look at the Constitution. But
Yep.
no, he was reveling in the fact that he had the power. Nepotism ruled, corruption ruled, Yentie ruled. Unfortunately. And he became a tin god, ordering chiefs and people to stand up and do things.
You think all that played a role?
It played a role. You don't play with culture in this country. You don't. You don't play with chieftaincy in this country, no matter how small the chief is. They are part and parcel because they'll tell you, you go and come. We were here. But he mistrode and thought he was a tin god. Unfortunately. Unfortunately. It's a shame. It's a big shame, but it has to be a lesson for us all.
Yeah.
That you cannot take the people for granted. When the people decide that, well, we don't want you, forget it. And you see, the one thing about this parliament that I feel has been good, it has allowed the people to get to know the Constitution better.
Yeah.
Better. But you see, right now, the fourth realm of the state, which is the media, has to play a huge role.
In policing Parliament.
And they have to play a huge, and they've got to be professional about it. Very professional. CSOs have a huge role to play, and they've got to play that role professionally. And I'll end by saying, NDC, in your jubilation, please be aware that your win was not only your effort. There are others who also contributed to your win. And in fact, don't even celebrate for a long time about this win. Just go straight to work. Hit the floor running. Hit the floor running. So important. I asked a question yesterday when I was on TV3 that the people are looking for transparency. And I know the NDC realized that.
Yeah.
The people are looking for transparency, they're looking for accountability, they're looking for confidence, they're looking for
jobs.
trust.
Yes.
I asked the question, wouldn't it have been a good idea? And I'm not sure whether President Mahama has control over that, but I guess he could have suggested, wouldn't it have been a good idea if this transition team meeting, it was televised?
Yeah.
Would have been a good idea. Starting point of transparency. Starting point. If it was President Akufo-Addo's right to give, I figured that President Mahama could have suggested that with the overwhelming victory that the people of Ghana has given us, it means they want to know more and want to see transparency. So I suggest that we should televise the transition meetings. Fantastic. Everybody will see inside. Everybody will get to understand. And we would not be waiting and looking for spokespeople to come and tell us what has gone on.
And speaking of which, so with the work ongoing at the moment, we've had the spokesperson for the John Mahama team say that there are some last-minute recruitments going on, some 420 million cedis going to be paid to an entity among others, and they would want government to put a halt to those and for the two parties to confer. This keeps coming up. In 2016, the same thing happened with the Akufo-Addo Bawumia administration now coming into office. Now, isn't it about time, or is it about time we added this to the Transitions Act, that perhaps 2 or 3 weeks to your leaving office, or a month to your leaving office, or 2 months to your leaving office, do not make appointments in these institutions, or that, and then also limit the number of employees you are bringing in. If it's 700, like we are being told, perhaps they would say that it should not exceed 200 or 300.
I would not even say 2 or 3 months. 6 months before you leave gives more time. 6 months before you leave, no more appointments, nothing like that.
Yeah.
No more extra spending.
But you see, government is a continuum. Government will keep running until the midnight of December 6th. So if we say that they shouldn't make any appointments in 6 months to the time, are we not tying their hands?
If you do your things properly, in the 4 years here, if you do your things properly, 6 months is nothing that you can't handle.
Okay.
6 months is nothing that you can't handle. We've got to be concise, we've got to be strategic, and we've got to make sure that the structure we put in place works. It's unfortunate too. It's unfortunate. These banks we're talking about just now, are you trying to tell me, if you say it was what? You call it what? Management problem?
It's a corporate governance.
Corporate governance problem. Could you not have kept the banks? Could you not have kept the banks? And people still being in employment? You could have. Did you not do CBG? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, so the banks, some banks were consolidated to
Could
form.
they not do that? And what should you then do? What does it then make it? The foreign banks now become the ones that people
the dominant
go.
ones.
And then what happens? Capital flight out. Did you not think, I mean, Furata, did you not think, and the president was sitting there, did nothing about it? Is it that he didn't understand? I'm sure he did understand. He's an economist. I'm sure he did understand. But he gave, you see, one of the major challenges with President Akufo-Addo is loyalty.
Yeah.
How can you be in power as president and never do reshuffle? How? You institute people and people feel that they have entitlement.
Well, he said these people were performing well. At the time, people were asking for
It
their
is
removal.
not his view of how they are performing. It's the people's view, because the people who voted you and put you there to serve. And you see, and that's the operative word, to serve. You are there to serve. So, we are where we are. We have voted a new government into power. Let's hope and pray that they can at least begin to get us out of the doldrums.
Yeah.
761 billion cedis is a lot of money for debt. It's a lot of money for debt.
I still have hope that you should.
The mere fact that a lot of our mineral resources are in the hands of foreigners is a challenge. Huge challenge. We need to start clawing back, and we need to start putting Ghanaians
First.
in those places. And let me start by saying, if going forward from the seismic works GMPC are doing, it looks very, very, very promising that we'll find oil and gas in the three-quarter landmass onshore. Please, if that is going to be the case, start propping Ghanaians to take control.
Yeah.
You know, when we discovered oil and gas, The idea was that GMPC within 10 years will become an IOC. So the ABFA, we decided that all the monies that went to GMPC should come straight from the ABFA, straight to the GMPC to help them build to come an IOC. It didn't happen.
No.
Because the politics
There isn't the money to buy a
played hard on there. So please, we beg, President Mahama, when you come in and you see that we can do oil and gas, first we need to demarcate the areas. If we are to find oil and gas in the entire three-quarter landmass, we need to demarcate the areas better, because you might find oil on a cocoa farm, you might find oil on a bauxite mine, you might find oil on mango. We need to demarcate, and then we need to start building the capacity of Ghanaians to take over. And I keep saying, you don't need an FPSO onshore. You need what? A pump jack and storage tanks, and then pipes.
And that's all.
Let's try as much as possible to give Ghanaians the chance to also be oil and gas tycoons. Because what will it do? It will help our banks. The money that they make will go into our banks. To us. It come to us.
Mr. Ishak, you were talking about the expectations you have of the incoming administration.
Yes.
We've talked about the 24-hour economy. You talked about the education. There's no stress. I think the one they're not supposed to pay fees in the first year.
Yes.
And school resumes on 23rd of January. So I've seen posts referencing the incoming administration and prompting them that the students are reopening on the 23rd of January. So they should be ready to pay the fees.
Yes.
What other expectations do you have of the NDC?
Okay, thank you very much. But before that, I just want to say something quickly about Mr. Gentua. That's 6 months to, I don't know whether an election change of government, I'm not really sure. 6 months to what did he mean? I think it would be inappropriate. At any point in time, we have only one commander-in-chief, and governments are voted in for 4 years. So you cannot artificially place something, unless, of course, we have a law. But then that law will still be inappropriate. Perhaps what I would suggest is, as soon as after general election, if there's going to be an entirely new government with different parties, perhaps certain commitments, you should not make certain commitments that
for
will
the future
tie
government,
the incoming government to certain encumbrances. That might not be appropriate. But as to employing 200 people, I mean, government is a continuous basis. Maybe certain capital
700 people.
Commitment to debt or certain capital expenditure. For me personally, I don't think it will be appropriate for outgoing government to commit, especially when the execution is going to take place in the new administration. But 6 months to, I don't know what his reference point is, to election, to change of government. Government should stop. I mean, what kind of...
To hand over?
No. That will not be appropriate. But I do agree that do not commit incoming government. Yes, there is a lot of expectation. I mean, you could hear their campaign. Some of these promises, I don't know where they are going to get the extra money to do it. With my experience in Britain and the United States, even they don't have free university education. I only hope they meant what they said. Because as a lecturer in a university, even government is struggling to increase lecturer salary. But for you to really say you meant it, we expect the first year university education to be paid for. And the students themselves, I can see some of my students are very, very excited
about it.
And that they went out to vote for the NDC because of that policy.
Okay. Mr. Akama? Quick, finish up.
Yes.
When are we close?
10:30. Okay, so almost. I'll be fair. 2 more minutes, and you can finish up. Yeah. Especially, what I expect from you is when they are going to be implemented. That's all. Nothing more than that. Yeah, the 24 hours economy. We recognize, as you rightly said, unemployment is very high. Some of these our young guys, they are struggling. If you look at sometime when I was young, the way Ghana was, especially Accra, like prostitute, for example, you could see people standing almost circle. But now everywhere. The child ladder is hardship. Unfortunately, we have students are not even part of it. Well, I think No. Before then, I mean, no. What? So the basic point is that young people are really struggling.
Yes.
I would pray they should be able to implement the 24-hour economy. We'll hold them to account.
Okay.
To what extent? Even though I know it's not strictly government policy that give us 24 hours economy. You have to create the enabling environment for the private sector to really take off for you to be able to do that.
Now you know it's possible.
Well, they say it's possible.
No,
It is
now you know
possible.
it's possible.
But it is possible.
But the point I'm saying is that most of the things that they will say, and they are in their manifesto, they have created a social contract with the people of Ghana. And if they fail to do that, that is when we then have the opportunity to come in. We are not going to obstruct them.
Why would they fail?
No, that's why I said they should do well. I pray for them.
But
if
they
they
know-
do
but
well,
they fail, they're out.
Ghanaians
They
will
know
be
they fail, they're
happy.
out.
But if they fail, we have a team ready to take over Ghana, and we'll learn from our lessons.
You have a team.
Yes.
Where you
yes.
are today?
We have.
You have a team.
We have a
Where's
team.
your team?
You know,
We have a team. We are not
your
going
team?
to throw the baby
Ishak,
out
no,
with the
where's your
bath.
team?
Ishak,
Eh?
Ishak, in a minute,
Yes.
how are you, regrouping as a party?
Yes.
Looking at how
Akufo-Addo has
shocked,
spoiled your team.
Yes.
looking at how shocked
Akufo-Addo
you are
has
the
spoiled your
result.
team.
How are
Listen,
you? How are you? regrouping?
Personally, I believe the vice president is the best material we have today.
I'm not
There's
talking
going to
about.
be- There's going to be
But
infighting.
I am not talking.
There will be an infighting. By
Yes.
the end of the day, the
Yes.
MPP, we are older than the NDC.
And
we
the
don't
accounts
know
will
that.
come back for
We
their
have
party.
always transformed in
The
a different
accounts
way.
will come back
the
for their
MPP
party.
is not an account party.
Well,
it's
let's
a
see.
nationwide
Let's
party.
see.
It has a vice president
Let's
from
see.
the northern, the president from the southern belt.
Okay.
The MPP, let me repeat again, it is not an account party.
Let's see, la.
It is a Ghanaian party.
Let's
How
see
are you
that.
regrouping? That's all I'm asking.
Oh, it's very easy.
I'm not asking for your flag bearer for
Yes.
the next
Uh-huh.
4 years or two.
We're
2
just
years.
going to do, we will just do investigation as to why we
Why
lost.
you lost,
And some
okay.
of us already know some of the reasons. We said the economy plus Ashanti region did not perform well as it is. But as with the flag bearer, Ishak, Sunday I had the opportunity of meeting him. Even the election night, he's in high spirit. And this is a proper democrat. We need people like this to lead this country.
All right, Mr. Ashama.
Just before Daniel
okay.
comes in,
Yes.
the MPP should be very mindful.
Yes.
Not to concentrate only on Ashanti, but look at the entire country.
We will do that, we
If
will do
they
that.
concentrate on Ashanti alone,
Yes.
they are cutting their head off.
We are happy to do that, but the CPP should look into their own affairs first.
Okay.
Why?
Mr.
The
Ashama.
CPP also lost.
Don't worry, we'll come. We'll come.
Says that yes, I've listened to my colleagues
Yes.
and NDC. Yes, if it should take NDC alone, we can't win this election. We have agreed that Ghanaians who want solace, who want smiles on their faces, who want to see their businesses coming back to the limelight, have voted for the NDC.
Okay.
So I'll plead with all the NDC people. Let us not treat this like a child's play. It is a serious business that we have.
It's a huge responsibility that has
Very,
been
very huge
given to you.
responsibility. And if you know when they appoint you, yours is to be buying high perfume and this thing, please don't go, because 24-hour economy means working at even starting from the productive sectors. Our environment that has been destroyed, we need to reclaim the land, replant, and then we look at the businesses that will work for us. The last minute appointment must stop. The MPP must stop those last minute appointments. Always MPP would like to be crying like babies. I could remember 2016, Dr. Honorable Ajimamenu, 8,000 clearance for the health workers. With issued appointment, he came to floor, he stopped them. And I am sounding this. They should stop every appointment from November. Let us look into the books. After all, they are leaving us debt. Whilst we were living, we left them the ESLA, we left them Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund, we left them the Exim Bank, we left them the Sinking Fund. All these funds were there. They came, took it, collateralized it, chopped the money. So they should stop all the appointments. Mr. President Kufuor did the same thing with the single spine. The very day he's leaving office, he created problem for Atta Mills. MPP people, when they did something, then they'll come back as if they'll be crying like babies. They should stop everything that they are talking about today.
In terms of the transition, the camp of the NPP, Miracles, when we spoke to him this morning, said that the NDC did the same in 2016, and when they complained, Felix Kwachifosu said that Felix Kwachifosu said that at the time they were still in government, and that their government expires on midnight of 6th of January. Yes. So,
but look,
government has not ceased because there's a new government.
That Ajimamenu stopped the appointment. So they can give even 3 million people who will stop it because they didn't leave any good balance sheet. That is what we are talking about. So we have to look at the money that you are going to use to pay these people you are appointing. Where is the money? We left money. You didn't leave any money. You left debt and you are appointing people. That is crazy. That is. And as His Excellency John Dramani Mahama started speaking to the IMF, you see, the IMF must agree for us to renegotiate our debt.
But so usually they are amenable to that. I think the current administration renegotiated when they came in 2017.
Yes, we shouldn't be paying the amount that we are to pay in the 2026 is the whole budget, national budget. So we have to renegotiate. That should be splitted into 4.
Okay.
Do you get it right? So we pay small, so that we can create congenial environment for the businesses in this country.
That's right.
So that is what Ghanaians are looking for. That when you are going to do business, you can get good money to go and do business and come. Okay. The taxes must be taken off. The e-levy, the emission tax, the COVID tax, all those things. We must take it off to free the system.
But Daniel, I think you should, before you take it off, you should see what it has been able to do and see how you plug in.
For which one? COVID? COVID levy, e-levy?
COVID levy. For e-levy, forget e-levy. That one was just theft. So
no,
they can do away with that.
Opened.
So
Mahama says the books will be opened.
Yes, so we need to see what it has been able to do.
Yes.
For me, if COVID levy could be sent into another part of the health sector
yes,
to help, let's do it. But you have to be able to communicate to the people.
Yes,
why
what you are going to use
effectively.
Cancelling COVID levy and e-levy.
Yeah, yes. What I'm saying is that
e-levy is theft. They should cancel it.
We are saying that I was in parliament when you people came. I was in parliament. Nobody talked to me when they came that they are taking off nuisance taxes. They did that without good planning. They took money and give it to your MPP apparatchiks. They chopped the money finish, and then you brought about 40
back. Are still campaigning.
No, we are not campaigning. So I wish Ghana well.
Okay.
I wish every citizen well, and I wish His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, Prof. Nana,
and the Vice President well as well.
Okay.
I wish Baumia, Vice President, well. Thank you.
Remember that to whom much is given.
A lot is expected.
I told you I'm not a fancy person.
A lot is expected.
Job, I can work. Yes.
Mr. Jantwa.
We need to bring Ghana first.
Okay.
Yes.
And make inquiry as to why the CPP lost.
And we need to make sure that we are building a nation and not building a political party. I hope President Mahama seems committed to do a good job. But if he sees some of his lieutenants, because after 2 years you can get complacent.
Yes.
If he sees some of his lieutenants going in a certain way, he should be able to pull them in.
Yeah.
Pull them in quickly. Because he is looking at a legacy.
Yes.
Some of them are looking at their personal interests.
Yes.
Again, President Mahama shouldn't take anybody who has presidential ambition.
Yes.
Because what will happen is that the moment they get in, 2 years, 1.5 years down the line, they'll be thinking of their presidential ambition and not the work given them. So no matter how good the person is, if the person has presidential ambition, please take them out.
Time no day. Nana Geopoka Jima is going after him, so we don't have to.
You have already decided.
No, this is how NDC is. It is only MPP who.
Let's build a nation that is strong.
Yes.
I believe, and this thing came up yesterday on the discussion on the other channel. I believe where the North is concerned, we need a development plan for the North.
For the North, yes.
Very true. I agree with you.
A development plan for the North, specifically, because in the North, water is king.
Yeah.
Water is king. And all this subsistence farming that we do, we should stop it. Because one of the major things that we need to do is to stop the rural-urban migration. Look at Accra.
Very
It's
true. I
choked.
agree with you.
Look at Kumasi. It's choked.
Yeah.
We
Industrialization will be the way
need
forward.
a plan for the north.
Yep.
So that there could be continuity. We need a plan for the
Get
north.
good food to
Not
chop.
this kind of thing we are doing there. Look, when I go to the north, it saddens my heart
It breaks
to
your
see
heart, eh?
people are still living in mud houses. How is that possible? How?
And most of the young guys are leaving.
How?
Wattle and gap.
So even if we would not have a plan for the whole country, the north there we should. Again, NDPC should be independent, like Electoral Commission. There should be an independent body giving the money, giving the structures to plan this economy. Again, we should add Minister of Finance and economic planning to it.
But this one too has it or it doesn't?
No, it doesn't. It's Minister of Finance.
Or just Ministry of Finance?
Yes.
Really? Because
We should
That's
add
everything they like.
the economic planning to it so that we can plan.
Because of stealing, they've added
We should have
to
planned.
Minister of Agric. Hitherto it is not like that. And
You
Ose
see-
Look,
Akoto,
there
what
are quite a
stole our
lot,
money.
quite a lot of things. President
billboards.
Mahama needs
If
to
what you're saying is
track
true,
back and put it in line. He needs to, because if he doesn't, he will be chasing his tail after 4 years. So it is important. It is important that he said, Daniel, please, Daniel, please,
Ishak.
I'm online. It is important that he's able, and I will continuously say it, to communicate at every step.
Yeah.
And the people he chooses should be very careful that they are not there for their own personal interest. Today, from the elections that have been held, it's Ghana. It's Ghana. And we want to be able in the next 10 to 15 years, Ghana has come back to its own, because we need to come back to our own.
all right. Perfect way to.
Next time I'd like to speak last because I see that you have been giving professional treatment to your
I've been giving professional treatment to
your-
Mr. Jantua.
Mr. Jandro,
I said to your
Oh. Mr. Jantua is the only one who doesn't do blame games. So I usually would like to end it because the two of you would go at each other. And Mr. Jantua
I've
will
been
be
hallucinating.
Mr. Jantua will be the voice of reason to calm everything down and end it and round it up beautifully.
In that case,
So
I've
Mr.
been
Jantua, please
hallucinating.
continue doing the Lord's work.
Spoil the matter.
In that case, I've been hallucinating.
Why are you hallucinating?
Because I've always told you've sided with the NDC most of the time.
I haven't
No,
sided.
so-
No, we are looking at issues on the table.
Mr. Jantua
Uh-huh.
sides with the people.
With the people.
And I can assure you that
Thank you.
if the NDC
Yes.
does not do or go according to the will of the people, Mr. Jantua would be one of the loudest.
We
And
pray
so-
they should succeed. But if you fail to,
We are going
we'll
to
descend
succeed.
on you like tender.
Look, let me tell you, we are
That's
going
my
to succeed.
prayer. The people of
Because if
Ghana-
your sister is doing business,
Yes.
she must make profit.
Thank you.
That is the basic understanding.
That is our
All right,
prayer.
gentlemen, thank you very much for
Oh, we-
coming.
And tell your
Please,
people who
is
are
it- is there-
taking goods from the warehouse to their houses to stop.
In fact, let me
Oh, they
quickly
said
touch
they're
on.
NDCs.
Let me touch on that quickly. This violence we are seeing in
Yeah,
the
we
aftermath
didn't
of
talk
in
about
the
it.
yes in the aftermath of the
Yes,
post. I just
yes.
want you to have a minute each, address it all of you, and then we can
Yes,
round
Yes,
this up.
that is what I'm saying.
The
that-
allegation is that these are NDC supporters and they are going,
Yes.
vandalizing.
That is not true.
Even in
Jasika, my district.
in the OT region, the priests.
Oh, that one.
The priests.
We have apologized. We wrote. It's very bad.
Please let me hear you properly
Yeah,
on that.
no.
How is it
That
that
is very,
priests were
very bad.
manhandled?
Yes.
Yeah, in Kwanta South, that area there are Catholics, a lot of people. So we have these foreigners or foreign priests to come and support. So we have apologized. It is so bad, and we've given the security agencies to go ahead to do the right thing. It is so. But because St. Joseph Hospital is there, so they are always helping because government kick. When they throw it, many a time couldn't get there.
Yes.
So it is very bad. And I'm standing here from OT apologizing to the priest and the people.
Catholic Church.
Yeah, the Catholic Church. Bishop Mante, we apologize. It is not good at all. But what is happening, even in my Jasika district, you see, the looting is being done by the MPP.
Hey.
I am telling you. If I could
As
send
soon as
you a
you
voice,
finish an apology.
you see, it is not good in my MC's resident. They carry goods, rice and other things from the stores of the assembly to MC's house in Jessica. I'm not mentioning somebody's place. And so, if that is true, they have to force them with the police to bring the things
But is
back.
that all because your people started and people have infiltrated?
Jessica, nobody goes to break any warehouse.
We saw
the assembly stores.
We saw Tamale. We saw people trying to
Lamashako.
take over Ghana Gas. People
Sabologo.
went to
Yes.
Gapoha and all
Now,
those.
many of them MPP people are inside. Those who are beef that they didn't get the share of the
So
cake.
what are you asking? What do you want to be done? I mean,
The
because
power
this
is
has
still
to stop.
in Nanado. They shouldn't call President Mahama to do anything. They should. Mahama said they should use the security of the state. Period. Because he is not condoning that. So they should not be calling on NDC to do anything. They should do that, and they should tell their appointees and their supporters to stop the steal. They should tell them to stop the steal. They are carrying the goods away.
Okay, Ishak, quickly.
It's really disappointing because when I was watching TV, you see, if you look into the vice president, one of the reasons why he considered defeat very early when his own data was doing is in the national interest to calm tensions. You see, so the response, even though I listened to what they call it, a press conference by Sammy Gemfi, he did very well by calling the protesters, even though I believe that he should have done it earlier. My advice is that, look, I strongly believe John Mahama does not condone the violence. I mean,
and you've heard him
I mean,
too.
he has got gains. I mean, why would you gamble with the gains that you have? If anybody at all should be violent, it should have been the MPP. But it is not appropriate. So I think the police should treat it as pure criminality.
Okay.
Whoever engages in that, they should have successful prosecutions. But I've also heard some inappropriate comment by some of the NDC members telling the security services to be very careful. After 7th January, President President Akufo-Addo will no longer be the commander-in-chief. There will be a new guy in town who will deal with them. This is inappropriate.
In relation to the violence?
Yes.
Is that what it is?
I mean, I was on a day.
That one should be with
on the
those
day
who
the
are
Electoral
doing
Commission-
recollation from the
Look,
areas that are not.
for me, what I
those
believe is
officers
that- Those
must
ones
be
are
taken
doing-
care
Yes,
of.
but what I believe is that criminality is criminality. I don't believe the MPP leadership endorsed any MPP member doing inappropriate behavior.
Okay.
I equally don't believe President
They
Mahama
endorsed
condone
yesterday.
it. So they should be pure criminals.
Okay.
And the security services should descend on anybody.
That's
and we
doing
should
that.
see successful convictions.
Okay. Mr.
Yes.
Janton,
You have a track record
We
with
still-
Nanka Bruce.
We
please
still,
let Mr. Janton speak.
we still have a president. We still have a vice president who's in charge of the police council. We still have an IGP. They have to work. These I don't really care whether they are MPP or NDC supporters. They are criminals. They have shown that they are criminals and they should be dealt with. They are using the political emblems to cover them. That they are MPP. We don't care. They are what? They are criminals and they should be dealt with. But that responsibility lies in the president, the vice president, and the government. They are still in power. Till 7 December, they are still in power.
Take the power.
President Mahama, right now, he has no power.
Yes.
Nothing. Zilch. The parliamentarians who have been voted, they have no power.
Until they are sworn in.
Zilch.
Yes.
Until 7th January, he holds the mantle of power. Then he now has power. So please, President Akufo-Addo, Vice President Baumia, deal with them and forget whether they are your supporters or not. Both MPP, NDC, they are so deal with them. Period.
On that note, thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining me for breakfast. And we look forward to what the new administration has in
It's
store
going to be
for
an
Ghana.
exciting 4 years.
Are you hopeful?
Oh yes.
It's
Hard
going to be an
work.
exciting 4
Are
years.
you hopeful?
I'm
Hard
prayerful
work.
but not hopeful.
You are prayerful.
But not hopeful.
Why are you not
He's-
hopeful?
he's-
There's other excuses. So I'm prayerful. I want them to succeed, but I'm not really hopeful.
Isha,
Now look
But
at this
prayerful.
headline from His Excellency John Dramani Mahama.
what does it say?
He says, His concerns is about how to work for the CD to stabilize for Ghanaians.
Okay, guys, have a wonderful morning.